Welcome, adventurers, heroes, and villains to Burgschneider Live, your gateway to the realms of mythodea, epic LARP battles, and awesome historically inspired and fantasy costumes and accessories. So grab yourself a tankard, ready your gear, and join myself, the wonderful and brand new Amara, Mike, and Nico Emma. No! They were so young and beautiful. Unfortunately, as may have been predicted, they have fallen into a state of decay and atrophy caused by life's hideous monstrosities. We have them here in spirit. They have deposited coins. Mike, they deposited coins.
Ooh, yes, we do.
Oh yes, very good, very good. Oh, yeah, some coins for you. Thank you. Yes, welcome to the team, Amara. You get coins.
Yeah.
Woo! So first and foremost, I need to admit to you dedicated followers, you people who may have tuned in last week when we told you this glorious and beautiful lie, which was that we said we were going to do a Brandywine special this week. Unfortunately and or regrettably, we have not got around to doing that. But that is not actually our fault. We were told by higher authorities that we should not do the Brandywine special this week because Mr. Brandywine himself, Bale Miller, said that next week we should do a bumper and deluxe and completely jam-packed Brandywine episode that will cover all of the amazing things from the costume guide, design aspects, to camping guide, to the RP guide, and also a few important notes on a panel that will be happening a week after next week's stream at a very special occasion, a very special place where even more exciting announcements will take place. So please accept our sincere apologies. But next week we are going to tell you everything that you need to know, and we will make it up to you as best we can, and we'll appear in referential Hobbit costumes.
Of course.
So important. And we'll show you lots of pictures, and we may even have some other special guests coming on to tell us one or two things about how it's going to go down, and we're all super excited about. But wait, what the hell do we even do? Who the heck even are we? Well, as we previously mentioned, we are Burgschneider, and we make awesome historically inspired and fantasy costumes and or accessories. Aw, thanks, Christy. Glad that you're sticking around. What we do, as well as making clothes that you can wear and accessories that you can take home with you, we also have another wing of our business that runs live action role-playing games. And we usually take turns describing what a live action role-playing game is, but we have actually somebody who's never played a live action role-playing game before right here. So I would be very curious to hear what your thoughts. What do you think, Amara, a live action role-playing game is?
Yeah, so I'm not experienced with the LARP thing. I would assume it's like people acting and playing a role.
Playing a role?
Yes, and having nice costumes and playing the role.
Playing the role. Okay, so
They got the role.
And so if we're having a little look at some of the stuff that we're talking about here, what does this actually mean? Well, we're gonna go here, and we're gonna welcome back Emma and Nico, and we're gonna have a little look at this this trailer. So what we're talking about here in particular is you can see, what do you see yourself as here, Amara? In this, like, we've got lords and ladies and people in nice outfits. Where do you see yourself in this mix?
Yes, as the main character.
Oh, like this one, right?
Yes, maybe a witch that has superpowers, magic powers that she can use and be, or the queen, if there is a queen.
I mean, there's generally a queen, but it's so much responsibility.
Even a king. I would like to be a king.
And you'd ride the horse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though I can't ride a horse, I would learn it.
Okay. And we're about to see some battle footage here. You jump in and you'd fight some of these battles.
Yes, I would love to.
Okay.
I have
Cool.
to say,
Actually,
with the sword and fighting, boom, boom.
fun times.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Cool. Well, that is kind of what it's like. I think you've kind of hit it on the head. I guess you have been working for us for what, at least 10 or 12 months or more.
Yes.
So.
Yes, but I'm in the e-commerce department.
Okay.
So I'm more into numbers. Yeah.
Look, those numbers are so important. Without them, the whole operation actually falls down real quick.
So e-commerce by day, and then like witch warrior king by night.
Yes, I would like to.
Yeah, learning to ride for the plot, absolutely, man, that would be so cool. So there are these guys, and they play some of the principal NSCs or non-player characters in the game, and they have their own horses, and they ride these horses in the game, and they're so cool. It's so cool to see animals. At Sturmwacht, this year just gone, we actually had a bunch of animals in the game, and it was just such a treat to be around like creatures, cute creatures, adorable creatures. Actually, one of the things that I constantly find when I'm talking to other people about LARPs overseas, particularly when I go back to Australia, and these people like have never played, but they really want to play, and they're like, I can ride a horse.
Yeah.
I can be in LARP on the horse.
Yeah.
I can be the king. And it's always like, okay, do you know that that's a lot of work, and you have to make a lot of decisions, and you have to stay in character the whole time?
Oh.
Yeah. See, Alara was born for this.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
I would love to.
Okay. Born for power.
And would you be a good king or an evil king?
Nah, evil. Honest, I would like to.
Yeah. Everyone under your
If I
thumb.
play a role, I own it.
Okay, well that's important. See, that's important. This is like lessons for life, guys, and lessons for life and lessons for LARP. If you play a role, you own it. But for other people who are LARP adjacent or LARP new, Amara has the benefit of having a really strong personality that serves well in roles of leadership, as we have discovered in our time working with her. But that means that to play a role that is in charge or dominant, it's a really easy step sideways from her personality. And this is kind of a good way to approach like first time LARPing. Like if you go all in to be a character that's completely different to yourself the first time, you're going to have to be in that role like almost at least for 10 or 12 hours a day, sometimes more, depending on how late you like to stay up, for 4 to 5 days at a time on the larger events. So having a personality or a character that's kind of just adjacent to yourself, a lot of the interviews that we've done over the years with various people, or over the last few months, this year, since we started doing Burgscneider Live.
It all blurs.
Yeah, it all blurs. It's all just like a time warp. What is time? It's all one constant marble squishing itself in my face. But playing comfortably adjacent, and then as you get more experienced with LARPs, breaking out from that experience and going more sideways. But like obviously, the power, the passion, you feel it yourself.
Yes.
And if anyone's got some ideas of like first-time LARPers, like recommendations, if you're an experienced LARPer and you want to throw some comments in there as recommendations, just like a one-liner, a single sentence, a single piece of advice that you would give to a first-time LARPer. I think some of the popular ones are: bring a good sun hat, drink lots of water, have very comfortable shoes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Always extra underwear.
If you're playing a Hobbit LARP, always bring pocket pie or pocket bacon. It's just this quintessential part of gameplay. This is stuff we'll be getting into next week, obviously, as we explore the quintessential parts of Hobbit LARP play. What's that? Comfortably adjacent. Love that. And a good advice. I think new folks forget that you're the character for hours over days. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And these are words that have come out of some of our most experienced NSC characters. And yes, Ali, absolutely, don't be afraid to just step up to a scene that's happening and make a big choice. Everybody, pocket bacon important, Lily. Look, everybody, even the most experienced, we've had like some of the most experienced NSCs sitting in interviews and telling us the biggest fear they have in their role in the game is just to go up and talk to somebody they've never met before. Like, no matter how experienced, this is the same feeling that most actors, like 99.9% of actors get when they're on stage, is the butterflies in the stomach. And it doesn't matter how many times they've played their role, how many times they've gone on stage. That moment, those moments before you dive into the swimming pool of being on stage are the most nervous points. And everyone has the same feeling, universally. I feel. Maybe some psychopaths don't. Maybe I'm just crazy like that. Maybe I'm crazy in other ways. So long as you're all welcome to come on this wonderful roller coaster ride and be accessories to my madness. Apart from Mara's first time, awesome experience and amazing journey with us in Burgscneider, we are also really sad that Amara will be leaving us in 1 month.
Yeah.
So take advantage of Amara while she's here. She has promised to come back and join us on stream.
Yes, I will, definitely.
Okay, cool. And hopefully
if
when...
you guys are nice to me, I will.
Please be nice to Amara.
Please be nice to Amara.
And if you're extra nice to Amara, then she might come back when her daughter is old enough to one of our LARPs. And, a lot of the LARPs that happen in Europe and a lot of the LARPs that we run with the Realms of mythodea LARPs are very family friendly. A lot of people have kids. A lot of people bring their kids. On the final day of Conquest, which is 2 weeks, 3 weeks away now. I don't know. Crazy.
Where's the year gone?
2-3 weeks. On the final or second last day of Conquest, there is the Children's Battle.
Oh.
Unlike the Children's Crusade of historical crusades, where all the children march to their death by following religious fanatics. It is, in fact, a fun battle where the 2,000-strong NSC or NPC army lines up and fights against all of the children who have come to the event and play acts for the children.
Das ist ja super, ja.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's an amazing thing to see.
I heard it's the most intense battles you'll see.
I have a character with the undead flesh that I sometimes play, and participating in the children's battle last year was one of my highlights. I have like a little conjoined twin that comes out with like a skull face, like, and they grab it, shake it, and throttle it and hit it, and it's so cool. It is amazing for the kids. But there's also like a whole kids town at Conquest, and also all of the NSCs and a lot of the shop owners, some of their greatest joy is to like give tasks and quests for children, because like just imagine being a child in that environment, right?
Yeah.
You got 10,000 people all playing in character in this fantasy land, and you're somewhere between the ages of 7 and 11.
I was gonna ask like what the age range is.
Yeah, I think kids are like 7, 11, but we get like 14, 15-year-olds. Like, it's just as soon as you get past like 14, 15, like you start to play the same game that everyone else is playing. Yeah. But like kids are great thieves. I tell you what, you don't notice them. They cause trouble.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe that's the thing. You need to be like a mother and child, like a lone wolf and cub situation, right?
Yes.
Train your child for destruction from an early age and set them loose on the world. Okay. Then we are very, very cool. Very, very cool. I can't even remember what the topic was. How did we get to that?
That's a good question.
I threw away my card. But I tell you what, look, we've come to the end of a particular milestone here. And that is that we are just a few moments away from, we finished yesterday evening at 12 o'clock, we finished the Treasure Quest Sarkan, which is our first treasure quest, which was a way for you guys to get lots of sweet, super cool merchandise and to help in that way build the new currency in Sarkan. So look, to everybody who participated in this, just huge thank you. It was so cool to see everyone come in and get involved. It was like a big boost at the start.
Yeah. Beginning the first day, I think that was like the lion's share, and then it kind of trickled in a little bit, and then at the end it was a really strong finish.
Yeah, it was a big boost. We really it really outpaced our expectations because it was such a it was such a tricky thing to convey to people. Like the concept is strange. Oh, it's not strange. It's
complicated. There's like
it's
steps
complicated.
to explain. Yeah.
That's right. And because we're changing the norm of how people consume or interact with currency in the world, it's just created a lot of questions. But ultimately, I think we got our message across to most of the people. And as soon as people realized that it was interaction optional, they sort of calmed down a little bit. But we got a little, we put this coin together, and a lot of people don't realize, but let's actually have a look. This is a little sneak peek for you. This is the first photos from the factory of the new coins that are coming, that thanks to you will be appearing in Sarkan, in mythodea this year. So the small coin that you see on the right on the screen, or at least I see on the right on the screen, I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that you're also seeing the same thing. The small coin is the general currency that is available and will be in the hands of NSCs and playmakers and plot people in the world. And you get those coins by interacting with them, right? Yeah, growing up in LARP, crazy, right? But the crescent moon coin that you see on the left of the screen, that is the special coin that you only can get by participating, or you only could get by participating in the Treasure Quest Sarkan 2025 range. So everybody who purchased a level of adventurer and up will get one of those coins. Some people will get more. And as you can see by the original image, when these two coins go together, it extends the image of the small coin. I'm personally super excited to see it get incorporated into jewelry, to people wear it around their neck or off their belts in time, because everybody, especially because it was such a controversy getting out the gate and making this happen, right?
It looks lovely, I have to say.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, right, on the back of the coin as well, so these are the front of the coins, as you can see in this image, but on the back of the coins, which you can kind of see in this image, there is like a pastiche of all of the factions, the NSC, the non-player character factions that will be appearing in Conquest this year as we move into the new world of Sarkan. For anyone who doesn't know, in the old world, in the realms of mythodea, in the previous world that we were in, was called Mithraspira. Mithraspira has been dying for a long time, a long, slow, and painful death. But now the mists that previously surrounded Mithraspira have been disappearing, and the whole game is moving into a brand new world. And the plot team has been working really, really hard, really for the last 5 years, to realize this whole new world with many new player-friendly NSC factions. I think there's going to be 7 player-friendly NSC factions, and then 3 battle NSC factions who are going to be fighting you on the battlefield 3 times a day in massed combat. Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you everyone who contributed and was a part of that.
It enhances the game for everyone too, for everyone playing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The other very exciting announcement that we have is that we finally went live with our JDS tickets.
Yeah.
So, Gensites to Seagull, we're just going to take a brief look at the JDS trailer. I apologize if I left the volume too high, but we're going to find out. concept of so that's JDS. JDS is like this amazing summer holiday. It's all sort of politically based and player driven, where the player driven factions get to sort of come together and do internal plots like inside of the faction, because so much of the big games that we play, they're driven by big plots and epic stories, and there is definitely some asset trading that goes on around the around JDS, where factions will trade internally for resources, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But a lot of the play that happens at JDS, aside from the pump ball, which you might have seen a little clip of, is like internal character play, where they really take the time on this awesome summer holiday. The weather is usually in Germany like amazing for that period of time. The site is beautiful and enchanting. It's like being in like a magical forest or fairyland or something. Everyone puts so much effort into their in-time camps, and so it's a great environment to play out those internal plots, where your character, which, as I always like to say, is like a puzzle, a story wrapped in a puzzle, packed in a character dressed in your costume. And if you play a character like that, then it's really you become this journey for other people to go on, and as other people are journeys for you to go on to explore their psychology, their personality. And at JDS, this beautiful environment, you can be there. And Mike, I believe we had amazing ticket sales.
We did, actually. We broke a record. We nearly doubled our sales from last year on day one.
That is insane. But that also means that like JDS does its own, I think, I'm not sure of the exact capacity, but it is a limited capacity venue. I think the capacity is
1,200.
We had 1,300 last time, so I think it's closer to maybe 1,500, 2,000 is what we're talking about. But I know for a fact that there were 1,200 tickets last year that were sold, and with the increased demand and with the new engagement, because the engagement for Sarkan and for Conquest for the New World started at JDS, even though JDS was still set in Mythospira, which is the old continent. They were all receiving letters from the new factions from Sarkan to say, hey, come hang out, join us, let's start some diplomacy, right? So that was super exciting, and weather was great, environment was fun. But yep, JDS is out there. Get your tickets. I'm not sure. I think first release is sold out. Is that right?
Yeah, batch 1 was sold out within like 10 minutes.
Okay, batch 1 generally get a little bit of a discount. I think batch 2 as well, maybe?
Batch 2, I have to check, but I think batch 2 is still out.
It's all good. It's all good. But if you want to plan for next year and get in with your summer holidays, if you're listening from the States, oh, hey, Nicholas, welcome. He's talking from beyond the grave.
Like with a Ouija board or something.
Yeah. So that's Nico, who's normally with us here, and he's still with us.
Oh,
And
there
if you listen to him in the comments, you can still hear his haunted voice. Back in spirit. But next exciting announcement, ladies and gentlemen, and it's been like this is a crazy episode. It's like a lot more than we thought was ever gonna happen.
Yeah, actually.
Like we sat down to talk about the stream content for this, and we're like, oh man, we're gonna have to plan all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Plan some extra things, get some stuff going on. But then like last minute, I think like so much came up, and one of those cool things, ooh, spooky. Spooky Nicholas Pino is haunting the chat. So much haunting in the chat. So one of the big things that is happening is that we are officially, and for the record, live and with the Warhammer products. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. All of these fancy products that you can see on these fancy people, you can now buy, so long as they are listed as available on our website. It's real, it's here. No longer are we in pre-order, it is actually here. We are participating, and this is crazy, right? Because it ended up being,
I know this model in the middle.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah,
That's
that guy in the
Nick.
middle.
Nick, the one playing the sword.
Yeah.
Could be anyone. Look, if you keep an eye out, you can
Yeah.
spot a few people in there. That guy on the
Yeah.
left, I know that guy on the left.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
he looks like surrounded. Does that mean you're the one in the middle?
Yes.
Yeah, you're up next. You're gonna be the next one modeling for Warhammer, right?
I was asked. Let's see.
Okay, we'll see what happens. But yeah, this Warhammer is absolutely live. Please understand, it's a huge product range. You can see there are I think there's 3 types of shirts. There's 4 types of jerkin, or even 6 types of jerkins. There are vests. There are 2 types of hats. The hats of each of the types of hats are in different colors. Every product that you see here appears both in either black and red, or red and black, or red and both. Look at the details on the buckles. So they are brass. All of the buttons are heavy brass skull buttons, like the most Warhammer buttons you've ever seen in your life. I think it's like a special request. Like, absolutely not skulls for the skull god here. No. The weapons
swords too,
Yes.
the swords are crazy. Just the prices on these swords are crazy. Like, you see them in euros and you're like, that's kind of expensive. But when you compare these swords and the quality they are to like any other equivalent on the market, it's absolutely nuts. Next week, after going drop, so sadly, Hobbits. Oh yeah. Look, newbie LARP info next week, please. It's gonna be next week. Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. But we have a huge episode for you next week. The actual
fully dedicated.
Yeah, the main organizer has come in, and it's like Bale Miller is coming in on set live, and so you can shoot him any questions that you have about the event, like literally anything. We can only advise on how to play, how to set up your camp, how to make machinations, how to dress like a hobbit, how to do those things. How to eat like a hobbit. Okay, so this has always been a hot topic, and let's throw it out to the audience while we're here. What is your dream hobbit food?
Fruit.
Like fresh fruit?
Fresh fruit, fruit salad, or actually some meat.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Like basted roasted meat or...
Yeah. Fleischfest, we say in Germany.
Fleischfest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some really nice meat. Yeah, that would be nice. And, some food in the corner for the pictures.
Nice. And Mike?
I'd say like a good scone. I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, so like scones, like especially like a blueberry scone.
Potatoes. Yeah, absolutely. Correct.
What were we thinking?
Like personally, cheese. Yeah. Okay. So personally, I have always. I think there was like this one episode or issue of like Asterisk. And it was Asterix in Belgium, and they had this boar that was a whole roast boar covered in like cream sauce and stuffed with potatoes, and I was just like, I was imagining what that would taste like. I still have dreams about that roast boar.
If you're asking about Denethor, I would say definitely those cherry tomatoes.
Yeah. He loved those cherry tomatoes, but I think they injected them with food dye to make them extra viscous. Bacon. Once more, the pocket bacon makes an appearance. LARP only potatoes. Yeah, Asterix food, European Gibili food. Oh yeah, the Spirited Away. This fairy food. So you're gonna have to watch out. Actually, you know what I would really love to do? Because Chronicles next year, we're going to, I think this is Chronicles of Mythodea, which is one of our mid-season, that's mid-event season events. We've just moved to a new ground. It's got a 3,000 person capacity. Generally averages about, similar to JDS, like 1,200 to 2,000 participants. And they have this amazing site, which is perfect for a fairy forest and some kind of fairy feast that curses people when they eat the foods is high on my dreams. Yeah, very, very cool. Very, very cool. But yes, that was an important segue from Warhammer.
Exactly.
I don't know. What kind of Warhammer? What food do you think of when you think of Warhammer? I think of rats on sticks.
I think of like salted meat. Very salted.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Warhammer, Amara?
Warhammer, I like Warhammer.
What do you know about Warhammer, actually? Out of curiosity.
Not much, to be honest. I like the outfit.
Okay.
Because I was there when we had the photo shooting
Uh-huh.
and I enjoyed it, and I think they have really nice clothing. The dresses, it was very.
Yeah, the combinations
It's a little bit,
that they put together.
different.
Yeah, it's very cool just to see all the combinations come together.
Yeah, I like
Just the detail, right?
Yes, the detail and the color combination we had. So I liked that.
With red and black, how can you go wrong? But red and black is only the beginning.
Yeah.
Like this is the start of a roadmap that, admittedly, we apologize, is slightly flawed.
Just a little behind schedule. But...
Yes, but everything is rolling along, and we have some people who are across the roadmap know what's coming next.
Yeah.
You have some idea. People who don't know the roadmap, we're not going to tell you. You're going to have to find out. But it's very exciting. There are more announcements coming really, really soon. We were almost going to make announcements.
Very, very soon.
Very, very soon.
Right.
It may actually come before our next stream.
Yeah.
But yes, much more to come with Warhammer. Warhammer has gone alive with more coming, but there are other things in our future. And actually, we've got a little weigh-in from our lore master actually this time. So you got to know that there is. We have been doing a certain little thing called Shallow Dive, which is where we talk a little bit about one of the regular or new NSC or NPC factions that will be featuring at Conquest this year, and we are not the lore masters, so we can really only talk so much about it.
Yeah.
But we have been blessed with a person called Fiona, who is an excellent lore master, and she has jumped in for us and responded to some of our earlier shallow dives. So this is the second shallow dive that we did. The first one we did was on the Vibalio faction, who were kind of like a folk horror group of people who settle the wastelands and grow things and human sacrifice. But maybe not,
Maybe not.
Don't let them
Better not.
Shh. They definitely haven't been sacrificed to the corn gods. I swear. Even though they're wearing a straw hat. But the second one that we did, and this is actually kind of an important one because it's the Crimson Sales Company. And particularly for all you tourists from the States and people like me from Australia who are still getting a handle on German or probably will not have any German in the first two events I ever went to for mythodea in Germany. I had not a word of German. This faction is the Crimson Sales Company. And we talked about them quite a lot in the second or third stream that we did.
The third?
Yeah, third stream. Yeah. I'd say third. And what we've done is we've gone back and had a look at that with our lore master, who is actually correcting us. So we're going to take a second and we're going to go through the Crimson Sales Company, which are one of the big players in Sarkan, the new world of Sarkan and the realms of mythodea going forwards, and kind of already have been for like a few years. So let's take a look at that now. This week, we're looking at the Crimson Sales Company. Now, the Crimson Sales Company is not a brand new faction. They have been around for a few years now. They were one of the first factions to come over from Sarkan because they are able to navigate mythodea, the world. Myth of Spira is the old continent where the game has been playing for 20 years. Sarkan is the new continent where we are going to in Conquest this year. But for the last few years, some factions have been coming through from Sarkan, and a lot of this is to do with the fact that the Crimson Sails Company are able to chart a course through the mists, because there was a mist that surrounded Mythosphere and isolated it from the rest of the world.
I think the main thing about the Crimson Sails Company is that they span the entire planet or the entire world, and they also have the ability to cross, to sail across worlds.
Okay.
So Mythosphere has always been a world where people from other worlds could come over. I think
crossroads of worlds, yeah.
Yes, I think they built it this way so people with their Skyrim characters or their World of Warcraft characters or their DSA characters could come over and also play now in mythodea. And this is something that we actually liked. The Crimson Sails Company is the way to do it. Like, a lot of people that enter here either come with the Seehunters Gilde, but the Crimson Sails Company could also pick them up and bring them into Sarkan.
So Sarkan, yeah.
And they come from a place called the Crimson Isles, which is a collection of islands from which they built their sailing and trade empire.
You could say they're a little similar to like the East India Trade Company.
They are always an English-speaking faction. All of the quest giving and all of the interactions that they have is in English. They are also quest givers and facilitators. So you can either approach them and interact with them as a player character, or you can become a player character that is a part of that faction.
So in the future, we actually do want players to be part of some of these factions, like have a background of being a Vibalia or a Crimson Sails person. But for now, the way to go to be part of the Crimson Sails on events is through the beginner's experience that we're offering, which is something we offer to people that have maybe never LARPed before or have never been to a mythodea experience. And it gives them an into the story. If you buy the beginner's experience, you basically are someone they picked up and brought with them, but now you owe them something. Owe them the fare ticket. You pay off your debts by doing like little tasks for them, and all those tasks are basically tutorial quests. mythodea and the events, it's been going for 20 plus years. It's 10,000 people. It's big, and sometimes you don't even know where to start if you've never been there. So what the beginner's experience does, what the Crimson Sails does, is be like, oh, you should definitely go to the Archon of the South and ask him this question, or you should go to this plot location and describe what you see there and bring the information back. And in this way, you have like these little tutorial quests that lead you and guide you into all the different directions this game can go. And you also have the guidance of these NPCs that whenever you have questions, they have an overview, they know what to do, but it feels immersive because this is a very powerful trading company. They have ties to everyone. So it makes total sense for them to be the ones sending you everywhere and having connections everywhere.
A lot of the play that you get with the Crimson Sails Company is like running messages, doing errands, doing some skullduggery, subterfuge, espionage. They're monetary traders as well as information traders.
Yes, very important.
So it's a great way to be sent off to meet other player factions, meet other new NSC factions.
Maybe learn a secret or two.
We try to establish a cool trading system in the game. And they use like pieces of paper that kind of represent like a ton of wood or a ton of something. And
Are these the signatum that I've heard of?
Yes, and the Crimson Sails Company is kind of the middleman between this, because in the future they're gonna have the signatum, which is, as I said, a piece of paper that says, hey, this signatum is worth 1 ton of alchemy supplies or a ton of food. Like every player faction gets space in our warehouse. You can put your stuff into the warehouse, and if you trade stuff with other people, they can come to one of our warehouses and have like, hey, I have a signatum. It tells me I have 1 ton of fish from the west. I want to pick that fish up now, and then they're gonna give out. There's also a lot of other stuff you can find out about them by talking to them, about their background, how they deal with all the monsters that inhabit the oceans of mythodea, because that's a big thing. The Crimson Sails has a lot of cool stories about the monsters and how they always deliver. That's one of their catchphrases.
Yeah.
But the Crimson Sales Company is English only. They talk in English only. So you always have a point where you can be like, hey, what is happening in the plot right now? Please
Yeah,
catch
cool.
me up, and these guys will help you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Fiona. It's been
Of course.
amazing to do the response to our shallow dive, and we will talk to you guys next time. Burgscneider Live.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an insight to what I was talking about before we went into that video. Yes, absolutely. You can move your characters like a crossroad of worlds is one of the real bylines of Realms of Mythodia. You can come from anywhere. And the Crimson Sales Company, like they said, is one of those main vehicles because they travel all around in their ships. And you can come and you can go, and then they also handle large quantities of trade. So if you are a faction and you want to support your faction status, like a player faction or a group, with some actual pieces of paper, you can like purchase the signatums off them, or like make arrangements with them to start engaging with this larger trade-based play that then leads into the political play. It's super fun. And as Fiona says in the extended interview, an extended response, which we will release in the coming days, along with the Vivalia response, extended versions, in those ones, Fiona states that while they are exclusively an English-speaking faction, if you are still a German speaker or a French speaker or a Danish speaker, they have a wide variety. It's a truly international group in the Crimson Sales Company. So if you just want to go catch up on plot or find out important information or get some seek quests, some sweet quests, go hit them up. You know, they're good. They're always there. But we had a few questions that we would like to address.
Yes. So from, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong here. From Misharum Kitam. What kind of meals cook well over fires at LARP? I'm worried about taking up too much time at communal fires by making bad choices in my dishes.
My big advice is to get yourself a pan. Maybe even a pan with a lid, but like a cast iron pan, even one with a long wooden handle, so you can sort of put it in and out of a fire, because things that will cook on that pan are really any meat. But in particular, you can put like salami as the secret winner, because like bacon is good, but salami, like you only want to put it on a hot pan for like 10-15 seconds.
Yeah.
Flip it. If you cook it too long, it gets hard. And two things happen. One, the salami tastes better. And two, the flavor of the salami leaches out into the pan, all the oils, so you get all that flavor, and then you can throw bread on top of it.
Super.
Yeah, and then it absorbs, and it also fries up a little bit,
Now
so
I'm
making
hungry.
croutons. Yeah, and then you can dice up your fresh vegetables, because obviously you just like salami flavored croutons in a vegetable salad. You don't even need a dressing, you know. Make the use of all of your extracts. If you're cooking bacon, if you're cooking meat, just use all of those juices. That'll make things quicker. Potatoes, like, and I don't mean like, you know, don't try and roast a potato. Like, you can roast a potato in a fire, like just shove it in the coals wrapped in foil. But if you pre-boil potatoes, then like not fully mushy, but like half boiled, then you can slice them, dice them, throw them in a pan with some oil or the salami fat or bacon fat. And
A question.
Yeah.
But flavors are allowed. Salt is allowed to take with you.
Well, this is the Hobbit LARP.
Okay.
There is no restriction on what
Okay.
flavors you're going to bring with you, because
Because I
you have
was.
been.
Oh, yeah, okay. Then it's okay.
Yeah, right. So anything from everywhere in the world. One of my favorite, I was just saying during the break to these guys, get a pan, get some oil, throw some black peppercorns in there, black mustard seeds in there, wait till they pop. As soon as they're popped, that flavor, that roasted flavor gets into the oil, throw in some of those pre-boiled potatoes, dazzle them with salt and a bit of turmeric. Amazing. But it would also be great with paprika, like smoked paprika, particularly anything you like potatoes for days. Also, meat on skewers. If you get some long skewers, make a little mounting thing so they can sit outside of the fire, or have them on a wooden handle so you can roast them like marshmallows, right?
Sweet.
Man, yeah, potatoes, so good.
Now I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too.
Let's move on to another question to get our minds
Okay,
off.
next question.
So, from Lily, question for you guys. Cool if not. I know Burgschneider does work with Gudvangen in Norway. Do you guys do LARPs in Norway?
Okay, so we have done some events in Denmark.
We did an event in Denmark.
That's right. But our early experiments with events outside of Germany and other parts of Europe have been limited, and we are still kind of growing out of COVID, and with the popularity and the demand, and also the ever increasing cost of living and the costs that simply go into providing the facilities for thousands of people at LARPs. Like when the costs go up for general cost of living, those costs skyrocket.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of research that's involved with doing LARP in another country. Like we need to really look into their tax codes and regulations and this kind of stuff.
It's really boring stuff, but the very courageous people who do that boring work are the people who make the LARPs actually happen and actually consistently happen. Also finding bases, like player bases, and people who already run LARPs, who are like, hey, I already run a LARP in this place, or I have an interest in running a LARP in this place, and I have experience running festivals and managing infrastructure. Again, the boring side of it, because if you want to run a LARP for even a few hundred people, you got to have working toilets, flowing water,
All the logistics.
parking, going in and out, and if people are on the ground and have some experience and want to say, hey, we love Mythodia, we want to do our own version of that here, then it's actually quite easy with the documentation that we're making for the new world, particularly Sarkan. Like all of the new stuff that we're making is extensively documented, because one of the aims for Sarkan is to make a role-playing book for the worlds of Mythodia. That was announced, I believe, about a year ago. It's still in the works, it's ticking away, but it is eventually going to release. So once we have that solid companion guide for the world, it's going to be so much easier for any group to pick it up. And already there are lots of community groups that run Realms of Mythodia community LARPs, and anyone running a LARP like under 500 people can just apply to us and say, hey, I would like to run a Realms of Mythodia LARP for my friends. And we're like, great, it's non-canonical. Like it's not going to affect the big plots or the world that changes, but if you want to use the themes, the ideas, the concepts, the characters, that's for you to do. And we're totally open for anyone anywhere in the world to do that. It would be, and we will offer obviously whatever support we can. But if it gets bigger than 500 people, that's generally when we'll step in and either say, hey, we'll kind of either work with you more if you've got a really stable base of people who are running it, or we'll sort of move some staff in to take it over or whatever. Obviously, it's going to be a case-by-case basis, but it's the boring stuff that stops us from doing more LARPs abroad, and most of that stuff has to do with the vibrancy and activity of the community. So first step to Mythodia in the States is finding a group of people who want to do a one-day tavern LARP in some cool tavern somewhere in the States in one night, build that community, grow it, and then be like, hey, we got 300 people, or we got 500 people. How do we go about making this official? Yeah, it's cool. We like to do that. We're interested in it, and we're, as much as we enjoy the franchises like, the Middle-earth Enterprises and Middle-earth Festivals and Hobbit stuff, that's so cool. We also really enjoy developing the worlds that we've been playing in for a long time.
Yes, and the boring stuff is absolutely vital. That's definitely right.
Do we have any other questions?
At the moment.
Take all the notes you like, Christy. And also, if you have any other questions or extensive questions, maybe hold off before Conquest, because we're all absolutely flat out with that. But after Conquest, shoot any extensive questions about this stuff to info.
Yeah, so it's info@burgschneider.com.
Yeah. All right, we are actually coming to the end of this episode, and before we completely run out of time, we are going to do our next Shallow dive. Where once more we are not the lore masters, but as people who are adjacent to the lore and the game and playing the games, we're going to talk a little bit about a faction called the Skargen. So, the Skargen are a reasonably new faction. I think they're like similar vintage to the Crimson Sales Company. They are, and I'll throw in a little slideshow, and you'll probably get an idea of the feel of these guys pretty quickly. So they are a faction that came around at the same time as this Crimson Sales Company, but as opposed to being a player-friendly, player-dynamic NPC or NSC faction, they are a battle NPC faction. They are a large group of NSCs. I believe they have a presence of 500 to 800 on the battlefield at Conquest. They are frequenters at all of the other events. Many of the cool, amazing people in the Skargen community will actually go out of their way to take the time to play in community events as well. So we were talking about community events, and obviously no one has to, no one is expected. It's the community that makes those events happen. They're non-canonical, but like some of the ships, because the Skargen armies are divided into ships, and raiding parties, and some of those guys will actually go out of their way to take the time to play in those events. Guys and girls, as you can see, it's a super diverse group of people who just like violence.
Yeah.
Exactly,
You know?
Yeah, raiding and pillaging.
Yep, so if you love to drink the blood of your enemies while rampaging across the field, then the Skargen are the people for you, and you are in luck. In fact, there are still spots
ready.
available. You gonna join up?
Yeah.
Is this your faction?
Is this your faction? Yeah.
Kinda.
Get dressed up, get the braids in place.
And the beautiful makeup, with
Yeah.
the face.
And they have quite a rich culture as well.
Yes.
Yes. So each faction or each ship has kind of its own identity, hailing to the 5 gods. So they have 5 #6 gods. Bring back the 6th god. Because they have 5 key gods that are all detailed in our Skargen book, which we have here. And then they have one kind of secret broken god. And the broken god is always represented by this broken statue with this other who lives outside of society. But the Skargen live in a place called Vinland, I believe.
Vinland, yeah.
Vinland. There you go. They have a very Viking aesthetic. Yeah, the costumes are hecking awesome, and that is like a common point across all of the LARPs in Europe. Is there's this like standard, but you have to understand that one thing that's very different about LARP in Europe is that some people will just play one character, and they'll play that one character for 20 years. They'll never play another character, right? They'll never change it up. And they keep developing their kit, their costume, their makeup, their techniques. So instead of getting something new every time in a whole new costume, they're just improving and constantly working on their existing costume. Yeah, or making, like, I think last episode we talked about the in-time costume and the in-time downtime costume. So if you're going to like a different event, and I've seen not just like player-friendly NSC factions, but also like undead flesh. There are some undead flesh people in the NSC armies who also have cool casual garbs, because they are, like Mike was saying, they're societies, right?
Yeah.
Yep, we got another question.
Yeah, please.
So, weird clothing line question, not Hobbit specific, but have you thought about expanding your women's clothes size ranges? Seems like most of them skew a little small based on the sizing guides.
Yes, this is actually something that has been brought up to me a few times recently, as I'm obviously on the front line, so I often will work in the Burgschneider stalls when we go to events. So I'm talking to people, or I'm dealing directly with NSCs and players. And one of the biggest things is that our sizes typically stop at 4XL, particularly, or even 3XL in some cases in some of the women's clothing. And we don't go to the 4XL or the 5XL sort of sizes. This is a problem. We recognize that it's a problem. I apologize to all the beautiful plus size people in the world that we haven't yet
And I thought,
addressed this.
yeah, European sizing, it's a little bit different than in the US, the sizing as well.
Yeah, I think we adjusted some of the Dungeons and Dragons stuff to have extra sizes.
I believe so, yeah. I think that was the first area where we did that.
Yeah, so if you want some, have a look. It's mostly the mainstay stuff that sort of sits within that XS to 3XL range. Like a lot of the core Burgschneider stuff, I think the Viking line, the Norse line, the Kievan Rus line that we have. But the Dungeons and Dragons line does start to break out from that mold. So if you're interested in some more of that sort of high fantasy stuff, then check out some of those things. Hopefully we've got that for you. But it's something we'll bring up in our next meeting. Obviously, it will take some time to implement. And it was something that is more likely to be implemented as our US market and US demographic grows. Because it's more of a, like, more dairy means bigger people. Bigger people means you need bigger clothes.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. Or not just dairy, whatever. It's just abundance of resources means larger humans. That's evolution, right?
Yeah, but it's also like sometimes even if you wear a medium size, you like to wear a large size because you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, and I think medieval clothes, or at least
They are a
historical
little
clothes,
bit
yeah,
loose.
they're often quite
They're not
large.
that fitted. And
No, that's right.
yeah, so
And also just like room to, like, if you want to do your own crafting or something with
Yeah.
it.
And Burgscneider, that's essentially what we do. Is we sell bases for your imagination. We create a base for you to expand your imagination. We stick mostly to like well-established fantasy and historical silhouettes, but essentially what we're trying to do is create a base for you to work on and build on. You can make layers. You can definitely make some cool straight up gate outfits with what we've got.
yes.
But
Yeah, and just absolutely, like, these things do take time, but look, we're always happy to get feedback from customers and from
Yes.
people to improve and to
Yeah.
keep these things in consideration, and that's how we really move things forward.
yeah, and it's quite simple. Like the more feedback that we get about that, the bigger it is. But moving back to the Skargen and the Skargen shallow dive, the shallow dive. If you like Vikings, if you like raiding, if you like pillaging, if you are interested in old gods born from the earth, if you want to come from Rinland, you can sign up. They are still taking people even now, and even up to, I think, a week out from Conquest, you can still sign up and grab yourself some kit and jump on the front line with the Skargen raiding party. One of the coolest things about being a Battle NSC member is that you can have kind of an adjacent player outfit, and during the day, you can be on the battlefield wreaking havoc and drinking the blood of your enemies. And then in the evening, you can go off into town and have a nice time hanging out with your friends.
That's a pretty cool book you got there.
Well, the Skargen myth book here, why, that's available right now on Burgschneider.com. You can get yourself a copy and learn all about the myths of the Skargen. It tells them about the 5 gods. The Skargen, however, are kind of an ethereal race. They're like the ghost of a civilization which exist in the mists around Rinland. So Rinland is Vinland.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rinland. No, Rinland is surrounded by mists, and the mist has an enchanting quality that captures the soul. So when you see the Skargen on the battlefield, they emerge always out of this like huge clouds of white smoke. We have run all of these on a logistics side, you know, the boring stuff. We have all of these white smoke grenades that create huge clouds that they'll sort of run out of and escape back into. Because the story is when they die, they return to the mists and their souls are kind of eternal. It's like in the Viking lore, it's like Valhalla is this perpetual place which exists. Yeah, they don't ever die. They just return to this place, and from this place they sally forth. And what they want in the world, from what I understand, is objects, articles, things. It's almost like they're just stuck in this perpetual cycle of raiding and pillage and violence and ritual, like the gods have proclaimed them once back into their bosom forever to perpetuate their will. It's crazy. And, you know, obviously our lore master will come in and correct me.
And these books are in time, so you could bring them to the events, and, you know, if you have downtime or something, you can read a little bit about it.
yeah, find out some stuff. Be that wandering scholar that everyone wants to be. So come, obviously, if you would like to, grab yourself a copy. It's interesting. The English is shaky. I must warn you, if you are an English reader and not a German reader, the English translation, you still get all the information. But because this was the early days of Burgschneider Press, the translation's a little shaky, but it still has all the important information about the gods, about the relationships, about the interactions.
It's in German.
It's in both.
It's in both.
Oh yeah, but okay.
Yeah, so it's a split book. So if you're learning,
You can learn German.
But it was mostly originally written in German and then
That's
translated
correct.
into English. So
Yeah.
it's the English isn't as natural as the.
But the good thing about it is it's more of a literal translation of the German, which is good for learning because you're looking at what is the German and then what is the English, and you're like, okay, that's kind of a literal translation. But yeah, otherwise, get your book, find out about the stuff. And finally, very, very finally, we are going to talk very briefly about Sarkan Balance of Power. So these are the Sarkan Balance of Power cards. It's the brand new card game that has been launched for Conquest this year. It launched with Treasure Chest. So the first 500 copies of the first release, first edition Sarkan Balance of Power decks of 52 cards with one special card. If you were in Treasure Quest and you bought yourself a deck to collect Conquest, you will get one of 7 special NSC cards that can be played in the game, added to your deck, and used to great effect when you wield that deck against friends, family, loved ones, children, or other players in the game of LARP. Yeah, please have a look. But with the conclusion of Treasure Quest, you might think, how will I ever get my hands on a copy of Sarkan Balance of Power again? Well, funnily enough, we have 2 things for you. So a second release of the first edition of the cards will be made publicly available for pre-order online on the Burgschneider website to be shipped out anywhere in the world. And I believe that will start in the next few weeks. And that is gearing up to the full 260 card set that will launch late October, early November. That's a full collectible set, will be available in blisters, and then you can play. It's like 52 cards is the standard deck that you put together, but if you collect cards from the whole range, then you can chuck them in. If you attend special events or get special decks, you might be able to get other special bonus cards. Who knows? But yeah, it's coming soon. You will be able to get it. If you're interested in what the hell this Sarkan Balance of Power game is, we have in the comments below a link to the full rules, so you can go have a look and have a read of what the first edition looks like and how it plays. And we will be coming at you over the next few weeks and after Conquest in particular with a bunch of videos which will be actual plays of the game and some more detailed explanations of the rules and how the game is played on video, so you can listen to the rules and not just read them. But if you want to get
them?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have designed the game and drawn the cards, but I hear some artist called Seth Bees. Yeah.
Well,
You don't believe him?
No, I know. I see him every week when we have the meeting that he's, good at it. But it's really nice, I have to say.
Amar is talking about these beautiful pictures here. Here are some of the pictures that
Lovely. Look at them.
Feature.
He's very talented, I have to say.
That's very nice of you.
Yeah, but you are. But that's the truth,
Also, I really enjoy putting this game together. This game is not just myself working on it. Obviously, I am a game designer. I have made games in the past, but I worked closely with a lot of really amazing friends of mine in Australia during my Christmas vacation last year to develop the rules, run some play tests, put it all together, and get it happening. Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
I really look. Hey, Christy, really wonderful to have you here. Really wonderful to have you as part of this community. This live stream is for anyone who's interested in LARP, who's interested in just shooting the breeze with crazy people like us who are deep involved.
How many
in LARP.
people play this game?
Well, at the moment, there are at least 500 people who play this game because only 500 decks have been sold.
Okay, it's okay. It's a start.
It's absolutely the beginning. Like, first edition has gone out, and first edition's second release, where the cards will be distinctly different from the first release, because some of the icons will be changed to improve gameplay, but also to identify the backs will remain the same. So all of the cards will be compatible, the rules will still be compatible. But if you got one of those first release decks, you will be you've got bragging rights.
Look at that diplomat.
Yeah, Diplomat is, I think it was one of my favorite pictures to draw in the whole set, to be honest.
Funny, me saying exactly that. Diplomat.
I really enjoyed it. And like I love this game, and the art in the game are inspired by the people who play the games that we create, and are involved in the live action role-playing games. Obviously, I have other influences, historical and otherwise, but here we go. Yeah, this is the Diplomat, and possibly one of my favorite images from the whole set.
Yeah, he's holding something. Some kid, right? It's a girl.
No, it's a woman.
It's a woman.
She is a diplomat,
Right.
because what do diplomats do when a diplomat will walk literally into the face of death to talk to the most powerful people in the world, to try and sell them on something with nothing but the tools of diplomacy. And that is what I tried to represent in this picture. So I don't know, I have endless admiration for those people. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, particularly in historical context. Brandywine people, just to remind you, next week is a Brandywine special. The whole thing. We've got Bale Miller in here. You can ask him any questions that you would like. We have everything going on. We've got all you guys here. Like, please, please, please tell all your friends, tell everyone, pop it in the Discord, promote it to all your people. We will also be like letting everyone know about it. If you have an interest in stuff that's going on in Realms of Mythodia, join the Realms of Mythodia Discord. Links are below. If you want to know about Sarkan, Balance of Power, and the other Realms of Mythodia expansions to the Balance of Power game that are going to be coming, get involved, join the mailing list. Get on the Burgschneider newsletter.
Yes,
newsletter. And man, it was so cool to have you. So cool to have so much engagement. The show is made by interaction with us. We have announcements, obviously, but we're also absolutely here to answer your questions. And we love LARP. And we love that you're here. And we will hopefully see you all next week for the Brandywine Extravaganza.
Spam away on Discord.
Yeah. Continue discussion in Discord.
Absolutely.
See you all soon. Peace out. You are
Bye.
all very awesome individuals. We love you all individually and as a group.